The Big Five American sports are all scheduled in November for the first time since November 2020, and we want to celebrate by slashing the cost of all daily packages by 50%, including 5% best bets. Starting Tuesday, November 1st through Sunday, November 7th, $25 daily packages are priced at $12.50, and $35 5% best bets are priced at $17.50. But even better, this is the perfect time to take advantage of WagerTalk's one-day all access. Lock in the handicapper of your choice for one full day for only $39, including when they have a 5% top play that normally sells for $35. But during our 50% slash promotion, you get a one-day all access for only $19.50. This special is valid through Sunday, November 7th, so save the whole week long.
All right, guys, happy Monday. Welcome in for another week. Can't believe it. Third week of the NBA Tip-Off Show powered by WagerTalk.com. Real interesting and exciting weekend in the world of sports. Certainly the NBA. We got some overtime games, got a whole bunch of unders, some intriguing matchups happening this week, including a full card tonight. And we've got a couple of games we're going to break down for you. And we're going to do it here with the Monday crew as we welcome in the prop god himself. There he is, Andy Lang in the house. Rob Vino, right square in the middle, holding things down and hitting cleanup here. Kevin Dolan in the house. All three of these gentlemen, you can catch them at WagerTalk.com. It is $9 Monday, guys. So best bets, just $9 there over at WagerTalk.com. Andy, how was the weekend? How are the props treating you, my man? What's the good word over at Wager Talk?
Doing really good on props. Had a good weekend in the NBA. Starting to get some really clear, consistent streaks and trends, which is what we're looking for in props. Earlier in the season, if you can find some of those streaks and trends, which I'm going to go over a couple. I'm going to give you some of my trade secrets here. You can do really well to get yourself off to a really good start in NBA. So very excited. Our reads have been good. It's been a good opening week in the NBA.
All right, good stuff there. Make sure you guys check out Andy over at Wager Talk. Nobody does props quite like he does there. And Rob Vino, talk to me, man. How was the weekend? And what do you got going on over at WagerTalk.com on a loaded card here on Monday?
Well, let's start there, Joe. 4% best bet on tonight's Monday Night Football game, $9 Monday, as you said. We don't have Steve Merrill here to break it down for me, how you can reduce that to $1.76 a play. So mine are $9. And we're going to have NBA up as soon as we finish here. Again, I'm pretty late with the NBA each and every day just because we go over these injury boards, but they don't seem to be too tough today. Things seems to be pretty cut and dry here as far as who's playing and who's not tonight. World Series and late football bailed me out of what started out as a miserable weekend, Joe. Really good late football last night, the 4 o'clock Eastern times, and then the World Series, Houston Astros, doubled up on them, 5-inning line, full game line. They came back and covered both. So wound up being pretty good. We're heading to this week looking to do even better.
All right, good stuff there. Make sure you guys check out Rob over at Wager Talk as well. And Kevin Dolan, Swiss Miss, Irish Mist in the house. What is going on, brother, man? How was the weekend? And what's going on in the NBA with you, man? What's new and exciting?
Like personally, Joe, I'm doing well. Professionally, maybe not so much. Got absolutely smashed to bits this weekend, which is never nice to come on and say. But look, I just have to keep it real. I think it was 1-4 NFL. I think it was 1-5 college. But you know, it's just one of those things. I think we started out the NFL season 29-6 or something ridiculous. So, you know, you have to give some of it back. But yeah, it was definitely a tough weekend for me. But actually, one of the upbeat things this season is the NBA. 83% to start the year, 9-3 to start the season, 70-44 long term as well. So pretty happy with that. And, you know, probably use the NBA for a bit of a catalyst for a big bounce back this week.
All right. Well, listen, remember, charity begins at home and things could always be worse. You could be the Indiana Pacers, for instance. All right, guys, let's get this going here. We're going to start with the customary contrarian play of the day here. And unfortunately, the Pelicans let us down. Had an opportunity to do the unthinkable on the cover on Friday night against Sacramento. But, boy, the Pelicans suck really bad as well. So today we're going to look at a team that's already cashed a couple of tickets for us on the contrarian side. And they're there again today. We're going to look at the Cleveland Cavaliers at the Charlotte Hornets. Now, this opened up with the Cavs 5.5s, and it is the second leg of a back-to-back for Charlotte here. Big win, offensive performance against Portland last night. And the Cavs coming off of a 5-game road trip out west here now. They got one more here before they head on home. But I find it fascinating because all the tickets, a lot of public love here for the Charlotte Hornets right now. They're an exciting team, but boy, oh boy, I saw it go from 5. Now it's down to 4.5. So there's got to be somebody that likes the Cavs as a contrarian side here tonight. So let's start off with the props, Andy, in this game, Cavaliers and Hornets. What are you looking at here on the board?
Well, actually, this is a game that there are a lot of really juicy, tasty props that I enjoy. Several of these guys that we've been playing night in, night out. I'll start with Miles Bridges. He's been doing really well with his points, rebounds, and assists. And by the way, if you hear me use the phrase PRA, the show, that's short for points, rebounds, and assists. So for those that aren't totally familiar with the prop market, when I say PRA, that means points, rebounds, and assists. Really popular category. So for Miles Bridges, he's gone over his PRA in 6 straight games. And you can also look at his points. The books have it at 18.5 tonight, and that's at even money. He's gone over that total in 6 straight, and Cleveland allows 25 points a game to small forwards. That's a really good play. I'm also going to look at under for Lauri Markkanen's points. The books have that at 13.5. He's only gone over that number once. He's only shooting 36% from the field, so if you're looking for an under, Markkanen would be a good one. The books are also all overvaluing Colin Sexton's stats. His PRA is 26.5. He's only gone over in 1 out of his last 5 games. So kind of one of those guys, big name. They might tack on a couple of extra points and hope to get some of the public over money, but the under is the way to do that. My favorite play in this game is Mason Plumlee, under 23.5 PRA. That's points, rebounds, and assists. He's had his moments with big games this season, but he's only had double-digit points in a couple games. One was against Orlando. One was an overtime game. They did play Cleveland earlier this season. He had 22 points, rebounds, and assists. But the last 2 games, he has not done well with stats. 11 total PRA against Portland, 8 against the Heat. He's a little bit on the downturn now. I'll take the under. 23.5 is way too many points, rebounds, and assists for Plumlee. That's my favorite prop in this game. Take the under.
Yes, Andy, and when he uses the term juicy and delicious with props, guys, pay attention because everyone likes a good juicy prop. Who are you kidding over there? Should be a very profitable and juicy evening here, Rob Vino. Talk to me here about this game, Rob. Can I interest you on a little side of contrarian here with the Cleveland Cavaliers? They shot lights out against, but again, Portland is not the Cleveland defense here, but they were phenomenal last night, Charlotte. Going up against this defense here of Cleveland, what do you think?
Well, we got one to go on, Joe. They played once already, and both teams shot lights out. Both teams went over 50% from the floor. What's interesting about that is, on the surface, it would appear that both teams have real good offensive advantages. Let's look at the over. But you guys know, and I'll refer to it more than once during this quartet of games that we're going to go over with here, the potential points, if every shot that was taken had gone in the basket, even in the game where they went over, right? It was a 123-112 game between these two, 235 points, well over what we're looking at tonight. But there were only 450 points available if every shot went in. That's an incredible over 52% that scored, that went through the net. So I don't know if that can repeat itself, Joe, honestly. You talked about the scheduling for Charlotte back-to-back. Might not mind them because they are one of 2 teams in the NBA right now, maybe one of 3 or 4 actually, that want to just go up and down constantly. And with their 2 guys back now in the lineup, Terry Rozier, PJ Washington, they were out for a couple of games. I think they probably have fresh legs, so I don't worry about them too much. But Cleveland just wants to drag and drag the pace. And even the other night, they were on pace for an over after 3 quarters against the Lakers. And then in the fourth quarter, they just dragged it and the game stayed under. The scheduling, the back-to-back for Charlotte, it's the 5th in 8 days for Cleveland as well. And you talked about how they're coming from west to east now to play this game. I don't know that it'll have a major effect, but 5th in 8 days is something to consider. Could be sluggish offensively. My power ratings made Charlotte 7. So I think I would lean that way. I probably would not go contrarian here, but it would not be something that really interests me in getting to the window, would you?
All right, there you go. We got Kev. What do you think? It's been a profitable trip for Cleveland and their backers, certainly against the number here. They were a 10-point dog Saturday night against Phoenix. Ended up getting just under that. So what do you think here? Opens up at 5. I'm starting to see 4.5. A lot of public love for this Charlotte team. What do you think?
I agree with Rob. I think this is actually going to be the first contrarian spot. I do disagree with it. I just don't rate this Cleveland team. 22nd on offensive efficiency, 27th block percentage, 28th from 3-point range, and they're playing their 5th road game in 7 or 8 nights, as Rob said, I believe as well, which might well affect their workload down the stretch in this one too. I think Charlotte are the better team here, first in the league in scoring, first in the league in offensive efficiency as well. I think we're getting a discounted price on them here based off the fact they're coming off a back-to-back situation yesterday against the Blazers as well. So I made this game slightly lower at 6, but nonetheless, that's where the value is. So I could only look towards taking Charlotte here tonight against Cleveland.
All right, there you go, guys. You heard it there. We got some props, and we got a couple of saying, oh, hell no, contrarian side, leaning towards Charlotte's. However, we're leaning towards the Cavaliers. Take the points in that one, and we'll move on to our first featured game of the day here. And it's going to be an interesting one, too, with the Bulls taking on the Boston Celtics. There's not a lot of appetite in the marketplace for folks to get behind Boston because, quite honestly, you can't trust them here. But Chicago's in an interesting spot. I still don't understand what Chicago is yet. I do know they're getting hurt, and I believe they're going to be a little less depth on this team here tonight, Rob. The Bulls, 2.5. That's the points that they're getting. The total's at 217.5. How much do you trust Boston to get it done here at home?
Yeah, I think I do tonight, Joe. I'll just start with power ratings real quick. Not that it's the be-all, end-all, but Boston at home, I show 4.5 rather than 2.5. So it shows me maybe there's a little value toward the Celtics here. And that's with the Celtic power rating going down for the majority of the start to the season and the Bulls going up, right, because they've been good. But I think the last time we were on, Joe, it was the day after Patrick Williams for the Bulls was announced out for 4 to 6 weeks. And I read an article where Billy Donovan said we're going to have to be really creative. We're small to begin with. We talked about that to start the season, how small the Chicago Bulls are. And we're going to have to play a lot of small ball lineups. Well, he meant it because they did win at home 107-99 against Utah, their first game without Williams. But they started 6'4" Javonte Green at power forward. So he and DeMar DeRozan are your set of forwards. Of course, they're big in the middle, but then they're small. They're all guard-oriented after that. If you just take a look at what they bring off the bench, Alex Caruso, Ayo DeSumo, the Illinois grad who took the college basketball world in the Big Ten by storm last year, Troy Brown Jr., those are all little guards. For Boston, the full complement of players is back. Remember, they dealt with some issues. No Jaylen Brown for a while, no Marcus Smart for a while, no Robert Williams for a game. They've had some makeshift lineups, but everybody's back tonight. It lengthens their bench. Jason Richardson, Dennis Schroeder, Pritchard, all guards that can handle the Chicago guards. Chicago hasn't been away from home much. They haven't played a team. Boston doesn't like big teams either. They're a better matchup for small teams. With Robert Williams at center, they're small. So I think the matchups work here for Boston. I think Chicago being on the road here in a tough environment works for Boston. as much as I've liked the Bulls and I have a season win total play on them over, I think Boston's the right side here tonight with this matchup. Boston, by the way, guys, 2 of 26 from three-point land Saturday, 7.7%. That's got to pick up tonight. You can't be shooting 7.7% in the NBA.
Yeah, they continue to be one of the least efficient offenses in the NBA here, Kevin Dowling. And it's, listen, I understand why the marketplace may be looking and saying, yeah, I don't think so. Can't trust this Boston Celtics team just yet. But what do you think? The depth took a hit here with the Chicago Bulls over the weekend. Do you trust Chicago to go on the road and get it done?
No, is the answer. The only thing giving me pause is, look, Boston are ice cold defensively. Jaylen Brown, 5 of 16 shooting on Wednesday night against the Wizards. Tatum was 1 of 8 from three-point range in that game as well. That carried over to Saturday. Tatum again, 10 of 32 from the floor, 0 from 5 from three-point range, as Rob just mentioned. So, I'm definitely not in any rush to lay points with this Celtics team right now. I'd like to see a bit of a turnaround in that shooting margins, but that I think the spot does suit Boston tonight, definitely. Chicago have been playing some really high-level stuff, obviously, to start the year, but they are a two-man every team. 4 of the last 5 played at home as well, and coming off that huge win against Utah on Saturday, you'd have to imagine the spot here tonight suits Boston a little bit more. Almost playing the role of spoiler against the team who are flying high right now. So, yeah, definitely into Boston spot-wise against Chicago tonight. But, their shooting would definitely give me a little bit of pause for concern here.
All right. And it could very well be. A lot of folks that saw that Utah win, minus Mike Conley, by the way, and said, you know what? Why not here? And let me ask Andy Lang here from a prop perspective here. A little less depth here with the Chicago team, but who are you looking at on the floor that you trust, or who are you going to fade?
Speaking of inefficient shooting, I'd like to talk to you about Marcus Smart doing his best to shoot the Celtics out of games. He's shooting. He's 25% from the field, 4 for 19 the last 2 games, and out of his last 23 3-point shots, he's made exactly 3 of them. That's the last 4 games. So when you talk about bad shooting percentage from 3-point land, there's your guy. Props wise, but he's a cash cow for unders right now. When you get a guy that's shooting this bad, you just take the under. Looking over the markets, BetMGM has the best price. You can get this at even money, under 1.5 made 3-pointers. A guy that's shooting 3 of 23. This is an under or stay away. But when you're getting plus money, even money on Marcus Smart, when he's in this shooting funk, you take the unders all day until he breaks out of it. Zach LaVine, here's a sneaky one. His rebounds and assists prop, they have it listed at 8.5. He's gone over that total in 5 out of 6 games this season. He's been very active rebounding, and he's been passing the ball a lot. My favorite play, and this is one of the best ones that I've been playing all season long. I think the books are still asleep on this one, and this was a client cash that helped close out a 12-1 parlay. Al Horford over his rebounds. The books still have it at 7.5. Horford has double digits in every game on rebounds. And we have a very limited shelf life on this play. He's dealing with a little bit of a hip injury, and we know he's not going to do this all year long. Al Horford is not going to average 11 rebounds a game. We know this. But for right now, if the books are not going to adjust this number over 7.5, I'm going to play over Al Horford rebounds every single night. Even if he has 7 one night, I'll come back and do it until we get those books to move it up to 8.5 and even 9.5. But double-digit rebounds in every single game. I got to play Horford. That's my favorite prop, and this will make my client card today.
All right, there you go. Good stuff there, Andy. We'll move on to our next featured matchup with a couple of interesting teams here. How about Denver taking on Memphis here? And watch that Memphis-Miami game, Rob, and boy, oh boy, they don't really play defense, Memphis. Denver does play some defense here. And Denver seems to be getting a little bit better here as the season progresses. So watch them against the Timberwolves also. That was pretty impressive here. So do you have any faith in Denver to go on the road here, getting 1.5 points to get the job done?
Well, that Minnesota game you talked about from Saturday night, Joe, they go in, they play a high-flying Timberwolves team. They're an early surprise to most people. And they've actually, with the addition of Pat Beverly, who has, verbally and by show instilled a little bit of defensive mentality into the Timberwolves, which they didn't have last year. Denver falls behind at halftime, comes from behind and wins that game by 1 point in a low-scoring affair. To me, Denver carries such a similar profile to that of the Miami Heat, right? Miami wants to grind. Now, Bam Adebayo did not play Saturday night, which we talked about him when he was potentially not playing in a game last week. It might make the defense a little bit less, but his replacement, Dwayne Dedmon, isn't exactly a guy who flies up and down the floor. So point being, Denver, Miami, slow tempo teams. Denver, Miami, two of the best defensive teams as we start this season. Yet somehow, like you said, Memphis managed to drag Miami to 232 points. We're going to force our will upon yours, and this is how it's going to be. So that would scare me where total is concerned tonight, that Memphis has had the ability all season long. Let me just say this again. I'll go back to potential points because Memphis's are outrageous. Last three games, 479, 488, 496. You're almost getting 500 opportunities to score points in Memphis games. But the shooting has been, like it has been around the NBA, just absolutely rotten to start the season. I mean, I do these box scores every single night, and some of these combined team field goal percentages for an entire game, I've never seen so many 42% or worse. So at some point in time, this shooting aspect is going to change the way that the James Harden free throw situation changed when he shot 19 the other day. We just don't know when that's going to happen. But you got two real contrasting styles. I have to think that Memphis might be able to, after watching the Miami game, Joe, I have to think that they might be able to drag Denver into their style of game. Question is, can Denver win that style of game? I think they can. I think Denver's multifaceted. I think Michael Malone would rather play it slow. Can't trust the total because when Denver's involved, there's a chance of one quarter being absolutely ragged or at least slowed down points-wise. So to me, it's, it kind of mirrors the Miami game Saturday night. I don't think it'll get that high scoring. I might look toward under here, even though it's a little bit of a scary proposition the way Memphis is just going up and down the floor. And like you say, not defending worth a darn.
Yeah, it's hard, Kev, to lay points, even a point and a half, 2 points here with a team that plays no defense. You got teams playing or hitting almost 45% from three against Memphis. So perimeter defense out the window here. To Rob's point, do you think we're going to see something that resembles what we saw with Miami and Memphis here? Or do you like the home team to get it done?
I mean, possibly, but for this game, I did circle the over as my favorite kind of way to, angle them for this game, because it's just kind of, well, it's both teams in fairness. Four of Denver's last 5 games have all, gone way under the total. I mean, it's not even close to start the season. In fact, including the one over that they did have against Utah last week, when you put all those totals together, their last 5 games combined have gone under by an average margin of 23.3 points. So when you factor in there was an over in that as well, that's a huge margin. The one caveat to that as well is, the average total over those 5 games for Denver was 219.5 points. So, we are seeing this total come down a bit as a result, adjusted by around 4 points or so. And I do think that gives us a little bit of value on the over here because of it. Memphis shot just 38.6% from the floor in Saturday's loss to Miami. That's roughly 5% down from their season average so far. Denver were 7% down also from their season average against Minnesota last time out as well. So, regression to the mean, it's something that I look for a lot in NBA. It is the great equalizer. So, if we get something like their normal scoring efforts here tonight, I think we could well see this one tip over the total.
All right, leaning towards the over in that one. And how about it? And if we're going to get an over here, you got any props for John Morant? How are you sizing this one up?
Well, the books are not releasing many Grizzlies props right now, so we got to wait closer to game time. I got to say, I'm leaning more towards the under in this one, and particularly I like the 213.5 first half under. Denver's only averaging 51.8 first half points. Rob and Kevin did a great job talking about some of the trends and regressing back to the mean, but I watch this Denver team, and it can be a little clunky at times. And for a number like 213.5 in the first half, I only need one bad quarter from one team to get this total to go under. So I'm leaning that way. Maybe a sprinkle on Jokic over 37.5 points and rebounds. The guy's he's an absolute machine. I mean, he's already minus 400 to have a double-double. It took about 3 or 4 months last season, but it only took a week for him to get to the minus 400 to have a double-double. As far as a player prop I love, I would like to talk about Michael Porter. I call him the movie trailer. He's like a movie trailer because you see the movie trailer and you're like, wow, that looks awesome. And then the movie comes out and you're like, not as good. And the Michael Porter is that. And, Michael Porter, it's the breakout month. It's the breakout week. It's the breakout year. No, goes out 11 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. And the reason I say 11, 6, and 2 is that is his stat line this year. That's what he's given you. And the books have him at 15.5 points tonight. I'll take the under. Thank you very much. He has not gone over this total all season, shooting 33% from the field, 25% from the three-point line. And here's the disappointing and alarming thing for me. He is 3 of 4 from the free throw line on the season. He's taken 4 free throws. 4. That is not getting to the rim at all. I'm not sure what is going on with him. But from a prop perspective, he is an under all day long, and 15.5 is way too many points. I'll take Michael Porter under 15.5 points.
All right, looking at the under there for Porter. I love that. And that really wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. All right, we got one more game coming up here, guys, and it's, of course, our overtime matchup. And really one of the highest totals on the board here, which is saying something given the fact that by this time last year, we were talking about games in the 240s. This one, not in the 240s. The Wizards taking on the Atlanta Hawks here, and it keeps hovering right around that 222.5, 223 mark. And it's interesting because I thought Atlanta played defense, Rob. They're not playing a lot of defense, especially over the last couple of games. They haven't been able to cover. They haven't been able to do a whole lot of anything here. And meanwhile, the Wizards are just printing money here. They're an ATS monster. So what do you think with this one? Do we finally get some defense and look at the under here, or are we looking at an over or not play for you?
Well, first thing I'll say is I think we'll spread some love here for our good friend and colleague Ski Prophet, who always tells us that he doesn't want any part of Atlanta on the road. So far, they're 0-4 against the spread on the road. At home, they're 2-0. Totally different team. And to your point about defense, Joe, when they've played anybody that can score points, and I don't know if it was tired legs on the road or what it was, but the last 2 games on that road trip, they give up 122 each. One was to these Washington Wizards. They just played very, very recently. The other 122 was the blowout to Philadelphia the other night. Going to come right back and play the Wizards again. Remember, in that game, Atlanta-Washington had no Spencer Dinwiddie, was the night they chose to rest him, and they didn't have Daniel Gafford, so they were extremely small. But Washington and Atlanta found their way up and over that total. On that night, Washington had 6 double-digit scores. Atlanta had 6 double-digit scores. Washington had 4 guys go 20-plus. So to me, it just looks like a Greyhound-type game. I think Atlanta's going to be very happy to get home off of that miserable offensive performance the other night against Philly. I think they get theirs. Nate McMillan needs to talk to this team a little bit. But when it's Washington, you know what Washington games are. They are what they are. They're fast. They're a lot of points. They are a lot of free throws. And I don't know that they'll necessarily slow them down either. So I think to where you started this, you said we were used to seeing games in the 240s. At least in a spot like this, we would be looking at 235 last year. And now we're looking at 223. And in fact, I checked out first half. We're looking at 114, which is a little heavier than the full game total. So perhaps we recommend full game here over 223, but I don't think I could play it under.
Yeah, Atlanta closed, I believe, -3 in that game a couple of nights ago there against Washington. So now that line, guys, somewhere around the 5 mark. But what do you think? I am seeing Gafford as active, and I'm seeing Bogdanovich also as active here for Atlanta. So what are we thinking? Points, and more points here, Kevin Dolan?
I'm not sure, Joe, to be quite honest. I mean, if I absolutely had to play it and, it's going nowhere near me card, I probably would lean under if I had to play anything. Atlanta, 54.5% from field goal range in Thursday night's loss to the Wizards. Washington by the same token with 38.2% from three-point range as well, which is around 9% and 6% better than both of the season averages respectively. So, because of that, I could probably only look towards the under here. I think the other factor in this one as well is after doing such a great job to start the season defensively for Atlanta, they allowed just 98 points on average over the first 4 games of the season, to then go on the road and get pieced up by this same Washington Wizards team for 122 points. I think we might see a much better effort from the Hawks defensively tonight. So, again, look, I'm not particularly strong on this, but if I had to play it, I'd probably look towards the under.
All right, leaning towards the under. So, Andy, let me ask you from a prop perspective here. A, are you leaning over? Are you leaning under? And how are you mixing and matching the props for this?
Well, I did dig very deep and found a plus 150 prop that you just close your eyes, hold your nose, and just play it, and don't look at it throughout the game. Just check at the end. Davis Bertans over 2.5 rebounds is plus 150.
Oh my God!
Listen, he's had 3 rebounds in 3 out of his last 4 games. He's played at least 18 minutes, and I'm getting plus 150 at it. The math doesn't add up. The value is on our side. All I need is 3 rebounds in 20 minutes of play. But obviously, it's a shot in the dark, but plus 150 always gets my attention. My favorite play is John Collins over 15.5 points. He's coming off a pretty bad performance where he only had 8 points. I like him to rebound. He went flying over this total the 3 previous games. The Wizards tend to get into some high-scoring games. Collins is so athletic, and I don't expect him to have 2 bad games in a row. So my favorite play and prop in this game is John Collins over 15.5 points. Don't sleep on Bertans over 2.5 rebounds.
Listen, Bertans is juicy. I'm not going to lie at plus 150 here, right, Rob? It's got a little juiciness to it there. Good stuff there. Love that. Should be an interesting game, certainly from a total perspective here tonight with Atlanta and Washington. All right, it is best bet time, guys. And, of course, those of you new to the show just joining us, it's we have a little fun here. We throw 60 seconds on the clock. That's all these guys are going to get. And in that 60 seconds, they can do whatever the hell they want with it, provided they drop in a best bet for us here. So, Andy, coming back to you, my friend. Lead us off here. 60 seconds on the clock. Doing it as you may. Just give us your favorite play here tonight.
All right, we're having a really good start to the NBA season. We're plus 16 units on the season. I've got a best bet, and I have the most useless fun fact of the day. Woo! Let's do the best bet. DeJounte Murray over 32.5 PRA. We played this on Saturday. Clients cashed this with 37 PRA. I'll take them again with a day's rest going up against a Pacers team. They're unorganized on both sides of the court. They're 1-6. Murray's off to a really nice statistical start to the season. He's gone over 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists in 3 straight games. He's playing 35 minutes or more. He's getting 17 shot attempts or more. Combine that with 8 or more assists in 3 straight and 27 rebounds total in the last 3 games. He's been a great overplay for PRA. We'll take him again tonight. He's the alpha on that team at this point. Most useless fun fact of the day. Brad Wanamaker of the Indiana Pacers is the only player in the league whose last name is also the name of a town in the state where he plays professional basketball. Wanamaker, Indiana is 9 miles south of me.
Okay. All right. That was excellent. Good stuff there. How far is that down from you?
It's 9 miles away from me. Wanamaker, Indiana. He's the only guy whose last name is the name of a town in the state which he plays basketball in.
Love it. Absolutely good. Hey, settle
buzzer
down.
Was a little late.
Yeah, settle down.
Houston
Rockets with the buzzer, damn it. All right, good stuff there, Andy. Don't let Robert mess with you. All right, Robino, you are up, my friend. 60 seconds on the clock. Is there a town named after you somewhere? Probably, but go ahead. What do you got for this best bet?
Yeah, that town is probably in southern Italy somewhere. Robert Harris, keep your hands off the damn buzzer, Robert. I'm going to talk now. I'm going to play Boston, guys, -2.5. The style matchup works. 2 small ball lineups. Boston likes to play against these types of teams. They're better equipped for it. Boston, the 2 of 26 performance from 3 that I spoke of the other night, has to come back. I think Kevin mentioned regression to the mean. That is severe regression back to the mean here. The Jaylen Brown deal was kind of crazy, Joe. He got COVID and spoke up about his erratic play because he wasn't really recovered from COVID after he had been called out by his head coach for his erratic play. That was his response. Hey, listen, I'm not feeling right. What does he do? He goes out Saturday and scores 34 points to kind of stick it to his coach. So I think Jaylen Brown's good. The entire lineup has been back and forth all season long, but it's healthy now. I'm going to play Boston -2.5 here.
Ooh, love it. There you go. All right, laying the 2.5 there. Get it done at home there, Boston. I am shocked that Rob Vino did not drop a Knicks first half. I am shocked he did not do it at the Garden tonight against the Raptors. Kevin Dolan, here you go, man. 60 seconds on the clock, brother, man. It is $9 Monday. Want to let you guys know as well. And, of course, best bets at WagerTalk, just $9. Kev, hit us up, man. Where are you going here tonight?
Hi, well, we just talked about this game in the overtime segment, actually. My best bet is going to be on the side in that game. I'm going to take the Atlanta Hawks here tonight, -5.5 against the Wizards. I have this Atlanta team power rated a good few spots higher than the Wizards right now. I wasn't involved in Thursday night's game between these two, although I did agree with the number in that one. And, Atlanta got put behind the woodshed a wee bit. Washington had 50% more steals in that game. They had more blocks. They had way fewer turnovers as well. Had a 10% bump in three-point shooting, almost 20% bump from the free throw line as well. So, pretty much everything fell right for the Wizards in that game, and I just don't see that being the case here tonight in Atlanta. So I think the Hawks win and cover tonight against the Wizards, and that'll be the best bet for this show.
All right, there you go. And there he is, Robert. He can't wait to hammer that bell down there. All right, one more time here, guys. It's real simple. How about, let me see if he does it here. How about for them Houston Rockets, Robert? How about it? Yeah, boy, that's it. All right, talk to us here. Best bets, Andy Lang. Murray over 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists, known as PRA. Rob Vino likes the Celtics. Lay the 2.5. Now, that's juicy. And Kevin Dolan says, you know what? Give me the Hawks. Likes them to bounce back at home here. Lay the 5.5. Our contrarian play of the day is going to be on the Cleveland Cavaliers. However, these guys, they are leading Charlotte. I think Charlotte is the side here tonight. We shall see tomorrow. But I would definitely head over one way or another. A lot still going on here. $9 Monday at WagerTalk. Opportunities to grab the best bets from all three of these gentlemen. Just $9 right now at WagerTalk.com. That's right, $9 Mondays. Always a great day. Great way to start off the week. Profitable here, guys. Monday Night Football. Got a full card here in the NBA, NHL up and going. And, of course, college football will continue week 10 here in just a couple of days as well. Oh, yeah, we still have a World Series that we've got to decide who's going to be getting that trophy, Robert, right? Let me hear it for the Houston Astros, Robert. There it is. I love it. Let's go Braves. All right, hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner, guys. Want to thank Andy Lang, of course, Rob Vino, Kevin Dolan, guys. Appreciate your time. We'll be back again tomorrow with another edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show. In the meantime, best of luck with your plays, guys. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in WagerBucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.